What's up, dudes? Max here, and it's finally happened. The Mortal Kombat X update that we've been waiting for a couple months now has finally arrived, and we've seen changes to every single character in the roster of Mortal Kombat X with this update. It's kind of freaking insane. Probably the most changes in total, but per character by character basis, maybe not so much. But there are some that got a lot of heavy adjustments, just not everyone. So let's talk about a few of those and the ones that I'm most interested in for the huge September update for Mortal Kombat X. Again, I'll be linking down in the description below the entire list, so if you guys are very curious about what's been happening to your specific character, you can find out by clicking the information below in the description. Ermac received some minor adjustments, however within his spectral variation, which could have been considered his least effective, he got a very interesting thing that changed how he can combo, which is a full chain combo that can be really effective while hovering, that can extend and give you a lot more damage amongst these combos. Didn't see a lot of adjustment to almost anything else, especially Master of Souls, but I'm glad to see that maybe I'll be using a different variation with Ermac. Erron Black's also a hot topic, especially considering that in the hands of somebody like Sonic Fox it makes him look extremely good, unless you're in Gunslinger variation, which was notably butt. However, Gunslinger, which is my personal favorite because he has a freaking hat, got several adjustments, mostly with the money shot being a lot faster and becoming an overhead, as well as entering the stance being slightly faster, using the anti-air quick shot to actually follow up for a juggle combo, and the spin shot has a lot less recovery frames, which is one of his best things for zoning. I'm really happy about this because I like Gunslinger the most, and I feel like I was one of the only damn people using it. Reptile's another character that I really did enjoy the time I had with him, even though he was somewhat challenging because I played him early on without a lot of adjustments. But he has been changed quite a bit now, and there's a lot of different things that have happened to him, especially in the deceptive variation, which was most likely considered the weakest one. In this one now, if you activate stealth, it no longer triggers auto block on the opponent, and you can actually continue to do some combos. This is actually very similar to what he can do within the nimble variation, where you can activate and continue the combo, and right now, especially with the variety of frame data that has been adjusted, making a lot of his moves a little bit faster and a little bit safer, he can do a lot more. He just feels a lot quicker in general, which I'm really happy about. Another one that I'm a huge fan of is Cryomancer Sub-Zero, as well as huge changes to Unbreakable and Grandmaster. It looks like with Cryomancer, which was primarily the offensive version of Sub-Zero, they are making him that way because there is a huge amount of changes that have been made, especially to the air hammer and the regular hammer both being faster just across the board, as well as the hit advantage on some of his chain normals, and this one's kind of crazy. He had a forward toe tap into button into grab, which was kind of universal throughout all the variations, but in Cryomancer it did a lot of damage. They lowered the damage on it, but they made it 2-in-1 cancelable, so you can actually throw out a special move after, which is freaking nuts. This gives Sub-Zero the ability to get to nearly 40% damage almost anywhere on the screen fairly easily with just one bar, and probably a lot more otherwise. I found a very simple to do and short X-ray combo that was like 51% just by even demonstrating some of this stuff, so it's really cool. The other stuff in Unbreakable, which was one of the most useless variations in the game, has also dramatically changed because they changed the inputs of some things, and they also allowed you to activate the Frozen Aura and the Ice Aura a lot faster. And by a lot faster, I do mean a lot faster. It almost comes out immediately and you can actually continue your combo. Pretty cool stuff, and it will actually change quite a bit how you play Sub-Zero outside of the Grandmaster, and might actually replace the Grandmaster variation in time. Now here's one that I've actually been waiting for quite a while, and no, it's not Predator just yet, it's Takeda. And Takeda's changes go on for so long, they're only rivaled by one other character who has probably a couple less than him, and it's Jackie. Takeda's changes go on for so long that I can't mention everything, but a lot of his frame data has changed, with a lot of his chains making them faster, have less recovery, or just do a little bit more damage. And this is a very good thing because Takeda had potentially some of the worst neutral in the entire game. It was kind of hard to figure out what to do with this guy just because making people afraid of Takeda was a little difficult, especially in an online environment. In Shirai Ryu, there is a crazy thing that's happening now with the Tri-Kunai, where you actually throw the 3 kunais on the ground. When you do this thing and they hit the ground, they will actually restand the opponent in the corner. There's some really crazy stuff that's being discovered right now. However, and sadly, the Lasher variation, which I always felt was the weakest and everyone else kind of did over time as well, This thing is not that much better. I've tried it. I've tried making it a little bit decent. They actually gave him a new jumping normal, which is really good, and he has a little bit of extra length on jumping forward and jumping back and pressing a button. But the biggest problem with Lasher is its specials and the damage that you get from them. They do a lot of hits, they scale very hard, and Lasher just ends up not being worth it. However, the big changes to Takeda were in the Ronin variation, the lightsaber one. There's some crazy stuff that's been done here. He has potentially some of the best and longest reaching moves in the game that are also extremely safe and leave you at an advantage most of the time. His back 1-1, which is effectively used to combo into a meterless like 26%, is totally good now. You can use an extra bar and get it to like 34 and 35. All the stuff that I was trying to figure out with Ronin Takeda back in the day, which was very hard to get used to and to try to find out what is the best thing for this variation, is now just so much easier that it might actually be the new preferred way to play Takeda. I don't know, we'll see. He has a completely safe fireball now that is only -2 on block. It is freaking nuts, so I'm going to play a little bit more with Ronin Takeda. I do like the lightsabers, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as possible. And lastly, a big one that I wanted to talk about, which doesn't even have much footage because a lot of what the Mortal Kombat guys were saying about this character, which is the Predator, was that there were some minor adjustments and changes, especially things that we were expecting in the long run. And I do actually agree with them. I'm not really upset with the Predator nerfs, and pretty much everything they put on his list right now is a nerf, but it's not that bad. And the more I've actually played with Predator and I've gone in, they nerfed his damage on some combos, a lot of his scimitar stab and the disc were not scaling damage properly, especially the trap and the hunter variation, but now they are. So if I gave you an example of what you would do with Predator in the past and you get 41% with 1 bar, you can actually still get close to 41% with 1 bar. You just have to slightly adjust how you execute the combo, which is fantastic. The one thing that has hurt him quite a bit is his meterless combo, which you can get close to 33 to 35% before. It goes down to about 26 to 28%, which is about a 4% to 6% hit depending on what you do, which isn't too bad. But the thing I have noticed between all the crazy long combos that you would figure out with Predator, they did not really change a lot of his frame data unless you want to count his down 1, and that is no longer 1 on block, plus 1 on block, it's -3, so you can't keep throwing it out. That's really not a bad thing. That's not something you really needed with the Predator to make him good. They kept all the projectiles the same within the Hishku 10 variation, but the one thing they did change is that when you get hit by a shot, any of the plasma shots, the advantage on plasma shot and the ground shots is adjusted by 5. So that means when you hit somebody with one of these things, and we were talking about that little vortex that Predator gets, it's not going to be as good as before. Most likely you'll be able to jump out of it or meter burn or something like that, which is fine. I think that makes complete sense, and I'm just glad that I can still play Predator the way I would play Predator before, and it's gonna be pretty much the same character. I love it. So that's about it, guys. There's a lot more because every single character got a lot of adjustments and changes. And please go look what happened to your character. If you click in the description below, you'll get the full list that the WB guys and the Mortal Kombat X dudes were able to put on their site and give a full detailed list on what the hell is going on. As always, guys, stay tuned. I'm probably going to be revisiting a lot of characters that I went back to playing in Mortal Kombat X that you might have seen week ofs in the past, because they're going to be playing a lot differently now. I'll really want to play Erron Black. I want to try this new variation of Sub-Zero as well as Ermac, and of course, Predator is really high on that list as well. As always, guys, thanks a ton for watching. My name is Max, and I'll see you next time.